last December, I ran a 3-month psychotherapy group on body image issues. And participants worked with me on their pain around their weight, their skin color, their scars, etc. As an experiment, I invited them to perform their stories to an audience. And my hypothesis was that this would lead to further healing for them. And I was right. As they crafted their stories and rehearsed them, their stories changed. For instance, there was a participant who had a line in her story that went, "He called me fat, I cried." For the first 4 rehearsals, she said, "He called me fat, I cried." But by the 5th rehearsal, her sentence became, "He called me fat. Why did I cry? He should be the one who feels ashamed and not me." And thus, through the 4 months, the participants journeyed from initially shame to anger to finally acceptance. So I was very excited about them sharing their stories with an audience and obtaining further freedom for themselves. 60 people came for the show. The performance was poignant and moving. But the best thing that day was not the performance. It was what happened afterwards. The performance lasted only 40 minutes, but the sharing by the audience members lasted an hour and a half. Stories flowed, secrets stumbled. Is that good? Yes. Yeah. Stories came out, tears flowed. People spoke about the teasing and bullying that they had experienced as children around their looks. Almost each person in the group had a story to tell. Now I was quite surprised, not by the fact that there were so many stories, but by the fact that how easily people shared their stories. It was almost as if they were waiting for a safe space where they could share these. No one seemed to be in a hurry to leave. And then I asked myself, what if they had been offered a group therapy session instead of a performance? Do you think they would have come? Very unlikely. Now that's a problem, isn't it? That people would rather live with their pain than choose psychotherapy. Why is it that way? I've heard many reasons. And one of the most common beliefs that people have about psychotherapy is that it's only for people with serious issues or those who are too weak to handle things on their own. And people ask questions like, what does a psychotherapist do? He or she only listens. Any friend could just do that. Or how would they know to solve your problems? They possibly will end up giving you some worthless advice. And then there's a whole body of people who believe that where psychotherapy is concerned, where mental health is concerned, all that is needed is sheer application of will. So if you gathered your thoughts and had positive thoughts, you would all be fine. Sadly, all these are myths. And when it comes to things that really matter, people feel alone. They live with their issues or they push them away, not realizing the impact of pushing them away. How do we fix this? How do we make it normal for people to talk about their internal challenges and not see those as weak or shameful? How do we see making a choice to take psychotherapy as a normal thing to do? Perhaps a good place to start is by looking at our definition of mental health. The World Health Organization defines mental health as a state of well-being where an individual realizes his or her abilities. So by this definition, absence of illness is not equal to mental health. Realizing our abilities is equal to mental health. It means if we are unable to use our own abilities and limit our potential in some way, we could do better in the area of mental health, which means many of us, perhaps all of us, could do better in the area of mental health. My own journey with understanding my mental health started about 20 years back. And when I introspected, I noticed several patterns about myself. I found that I would cry when I was actually very angry. I found it difficult to take space in a group. I needed validation for my ideas, even simple ones. But outwardly, there was no problem. I was an MBA from a Premier B school, and within a few years of working, I had set out as an entrepreneur. So from the outside, everything was fine. I was admired for who I was. Only I knew the confusions that I carried within. I accidentally stumbled upon psychotherapy, and it was my curiosity that drew me to it. And as I entered it, I was quite surprised to see the number of ways in which I was acting in self-defeating ways. And I was fascinated to see factors that I never thought were correlated were actually impacting me. But I was most pleasantly surprised by the process. I think I found it extremely supportive, empathetic, joyful, and very creative. I did many interesting things, like talking to parts of myself, enacting early scenes from my life, pounding cushions sometimes, analyzing my dreams, crafting behavioral experiments for myself. It was a journey through Wonderland. Truly insightful. It helped me learn about the very many ways I was sabotaging myself and allowed me to let go of some of these limiting patterns. It was my own lasting change that not just convinced me about the potency of therapy, but also about the widespread need for the same. It was a turning point for me in some sense, in that I chose psychotherapy as my second profession, even as I continued running my organization. Another experiment that I did early this year convinced me about the relevance of psychotherapy for a wide population. I ran a group for 6 months. The objective of this group was to help participants recognize and honor the need for love and appreciation in their lives and find healthy ways to get this for themselves. So we did many exercises over the 6 months. One exercise was for participants to sit in a circle and ask for appreciation. They had to ask one another, "What do you like about me?" and listen to the answers while paying close attention to what they were feeling. A simple exercise like this threw up unexpectedly powerful feelings. For instance, when A said to B, "I think you're an intelligent man," B, to his great surprise, found that he felt sad and not happy. And on examining where that sadness came from, he recognized a harsh, critical voice in his head that said, "You don't deserve that compliment." And the more he paid attention to it, he recognized how pervasive that voice was in his life and prevented him from enjoying any of his successes. Another participant noticed that when somebody else got a compliment, she got panicky. And when I asked her to describe what her panic was, she said, "I don't know. I just want to do something better than that person right now. Otherwise," and she couldn't finish her sentence. She had no words to describe her panic. It was a wordless sense that something terrible was going to happen. And she recognized that she lived her life with that wordless sense of dread, and she was never able to allow herself to relax. And these are just 2 examples of the numerous insights people got about what was happening just below the level of awareness. Unexpectedly, they had questions like, how did we get to be like this? How did it all start? And what do we do about our newfound awareness? And these are normal, well-functioning, intelligent people, and by no means would you call them needy or desperate. And when I described what psychotherapy was to them, they seemed quite excited. It seemed like a way to discover where these puzzling ways of being were coming from. And that's exactly what psychotherapy is. It's a curious journey that you undertake with a skilled partner to discover all parts of yourself, some that you love, some that you hate, some that you don't even know exist, and see what that discovery means for you. It's not something to be done in secret, as if there was a problem with the person. The person is never the problem. The problem is a problem. So going for psychotherapy should be as normal as going to the gym. We go to the gym to use muscles that we don't use in everyday life. And in psychotherapy, we think the thoughts and feel the feelings that we don't allow ourselves to do in everyday life. We go to the gym to strengthen our physical body, and we go for psychotherapy to strengthen our ability to fiercely be ourselves. So having a psychotherapist in your corner is far from being crazy. It means you're willing to invest in realizing your potential and being the person that you're meant to be. Now, if that isn't smart, what is? Thank you.